Hey Fanshawe, my name is Julia Brown and I am your finance coordinator for this year. In today's video, we'll be talking about the always exciting topic of budgeting so that your money can get you as far as you need it to. Let's talk about what a personal budget is. Basically, it's a plan that you create to make sure that you can meet all of your financial obligations. So rent, food, bills, and credit payments are generally the big ones that you need to cover off. But they aren't everything that you need to keep in mind. I suggest breaking down your budget into several categories, one-time and monthly, as well as by semester. And be realistic with the numbers that you allot to each amount. This isn't a school project that you need to make look pretty. It's your life, and the only way that you're going to be able to know about the issues that you might be facing are if you're honest enough with yourself to find them. So I don't know about you guys, but whenever I'm told that there is good news and there is bad news, I always choose to hear the bad news first and then finish with the good. With that in mind, let's talk about what you have to spend your coin on. For the purposes of this video, they will be called expenses. So there are one-time expenses. Those are your tuition, program fees, which can be found on Fanshawe's website, and textbooks. And then there's monthly expenses, rent, utilities if they're not included, phone bills, food, and internet if it's also not included. Now, if you have a car, you can add a few more to that monthly expense list. Car payments, car insurance, gas, and parking. This is not including any maintenance costs, which depending on how demanding your car can be, could fall under one-time expenses or monthly. You may notice that the more fun things are missing from this list, like entertainment, hygiene and grooming, clothing, streaming services, and a 2 a.m. fast food budget. You should definitely include these in your budgets. However, they are also some of the easiest amounts to fiddle with when you're playing with your numbers to try and make ends meet. Know that these numbers or amounts that you allot are not set in stone, like your cell phone bill or your credit card payments. That said, if you're willing to axe all of these, keep your hygiene budget. You can always buy cheaper soap. Gotta stay fresh, my friends. Now, prepare for your warm and fuzzy feeling of the good news. We are going to talk about your coin. As with expenses, let's talk about these under the categories of one-time and monthly. So your one-time forms of income are OSAP, scholarships, grants, bursaries, and any personal savings. Monthly income can be RESPs, had your parents been able to save for your education, and part-time employment. That list was noticeably shorter, eh? And if the numbers are also noticeably smaller, you may need to start looking for a part-time job. I suggest visiting career services in our school for any help that you may need with that. Or if you want to work with your girl at the FSU, look us up under fsu.ca, and under job postings, anything that we have available will be there. All right. So we've calculated all these great numbers. What now? We need to find what is called your discretionary income, which is basically the money you have left over from paying the absolutely necessary expenses, known as fixed expenses, because they aren't going anywhere. These are your tuition, fees, rent, credit payments, phone bills, utilities, food. Also, remember when I went off on a tangent about car expenses? Yeah, add that to the end of the list, drivers. Again, we're going to do the big calculations by semester. So break down your one-time expenses by semester. I would suggest just putting in what you paid in WebAdvisor to make it easier, and add up your monthly ones from September to December. Same with your income. Use the amount you received from OSAP for this term and add it to any with bursaries or scholarships that you may have received. The trickiest part of this is estimating how much you'll earn in a part-time job. But that's what it is, it's a guess. So try and be realistic about it. Calculate the amount you work on average, not the max amount that you can. Once you have your two lovely numbers, one for the semester's income and the other one for the semester's expenses, you are going to do another calculation. Super exciting, I know. What we're going to do is take your income and subtract your total fixed expenses. What is left is called your discretionary income. That's your fun budget. From there, you can divide it into 4 to look at your monthly amount, and if you want to see it a lot higher, this may be your wake-up call for getting a part-time job. If you already have a job, look at how many hours you're working. And if it's still not working out, this is where the fiddling starts. cheaper brands for hygiene and store brands for food, if you can, switching to a cheaper phone plan, and on that note, paying attention to your data overuse charges because we have Wi-Fi at school, so make sure you're signing on to that every day. Knocking down eating out from a few times a week to once, bring some lunches from home, and then load a Tim's card for your coffee budget to make sure you don't accidentally go over. And finally, take cash with you on a night out to make sure you don't accidentally tap away a bit too much when you're feeling particularly happy. These are some of the many things that you can do to start whittling down those initial amounts you have set aside to make sure that your discretionary income goes further. Now that you have your budget, my biggest piece of advice is to stick to it. You can't know if something works if you don't try it out. Realize you lowballed your food amount? Adjust it. But what goes up must come down. Something else will have to give, and it will likely come out of your discretionary income. So on that terrifying note, that's my crash course on budgeting. If you still have trouble with creating one, come see me. I'm more than happy to guide you through the process over a cup of tea. See you later, Fanshawe.